Hello, welcome back to week 7 of this Pokepal Draft League. This week we are playing against Lichess with his Fluttermane, Ogerpon Wellspring, Arcanine, Hisuian Arcanine, Latios, Tinglu, Scizor, Palma, Morgrem, Coughing, and Hisuian Sneasel. So right off the gate, obviously Fluttermane, Ogerpon, both being these 20-point pulls in this draft, are most likely going to come. Things I'm, considering when I'm building my team. I also mostly figuring Arcanine, Latios come. They're just pretty generally useful Pokemon with abilities to set up Intimidate and Tailwind, as well as hit very hard. From there, Scizor, Palma are the most likely. There's a world Morgrem shows. I don't think he's ever bringing this Coughing. While I'm already fairly likely bringing like a Wheezing, and if not, at least still like Toedscruel, maybe even just Regigigas to take advantage of Coughing, whatever. And Sneasel does give him Fake Out, but Palmat does that, and then outside of that, this thing can't do anything to me. Anyway, so now most likely 6, Fluttermane, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Hisuian Arcanine, Latios, Tinglu, Scizor, or Palmot. Palmot is good Fake Out, fighting type into Gigas Darkrai. Well, I don't think it's outspeeding Darkrai, and I'm gonna run Scarf Gigas. And then it doesn't do that much into like Toedscruel. Doesn't love being intimidated. So I think it might be Scizor. But again, I'm not too worried. I do have a Scizor tech, but we'll get there. Now let's go over my team. So this Regigigas has enough speed with his Choice Scarf to outspeed everything on his team that isn't also like a Scarf. But specifically like the booster Fluttermane, next to Wheezing, the booster's not going to go off, so Regigigas will outspeed. And Oko with Heavy Slam, pretty guaranteed. Besides that, Double Edge is just going to do ridiculous damage. Knockoff, coming from 160 attack max is still going to do damage. Drain Punch is big. Even though it's Choice Scarf, I'm only going to get one boost to this Stellar. I think I value the ability for Regigigas to just pick up an Oko on a thing I want it to. So Stellar Double Edge will guarantee against Ogerpon. Maybe knock off Latios, Drain Punch, Arcanine, Tinglu, stuff like that, where I just want that initial burst. So, there's Stellar. Wheezing, we're going to have leftovers. It kind of works with the Deoxys set we're running this week, in theory, as well as the fact that besides Fluttermane, and I suppose Latios, they're very physically defensive this week, and Wheezing obviously has a lot more physical bulk, would like to take advantage of that. So, if Gigas can get rid of Fluttermane and Latios, this Wheezing, especially behind screens with leftovers, actually can do a ton this week, to be honest. Anyway, as far as the stats, 352 HP, 76 plus defense, which, you basically just always give it the plus on the highest stat, just the most efficient. 100 special defense, 4 special attack is just because we're 5-statting it. The reason we're 5-statting it too is the speed, hopefully, maybe enough to outspeed the Scizor. Scizor is 85 uninvested, 86 with like a 4, which I think is very reasonable to do, because there's nothing else on my team that Scizor is like specifically going to try and outspeed other than the Wheezing. But I don't know. I don't think Scizor feels like they're threatened by Wheezing, and so we just run a Flamethrower. So I'm not just stuck like Will-O-Wisp, chipping away at it and protecting with Sludge Bomb if it gets to that. I did a similar thing for Empoleon against Parker, but the 4 times is even stronger, and it's actually a physical Pokemon which Wheezing likes to fight. So we ended up going with Flamethrower. Hopefully, it doesn't even need to come into play because it doesn't really do anything into anybody else. But otherwise, I really couldn't touch Scizor. Terra Flying is because I didn't want to Terra Dark to like get out of Latios Psychics, because then I'm weak to Flutter Mane's Terra Fairy, or not even Terra Fairy, but you know what I mean. I wasn't too worried about any of the physical attackers, so I'm only making myself weak to Palmot, and you would have to commit Terra, you know, to use it multiple times. So I could even do it after I'm safe there. But then also Tinglu, like Phantom, I think it is, whichever one the trapping is that they love to run at times. I really want to avoid that, be able to move around. Yeah, Terrifying is pretty good, not horrible into anything in particular. Darkrai, we are on Focus Sash this week. That is because I'm not gonna be able to consistently have like Icy Wind or no booster on the Flutter and be able to outspeed it, and so obviously Flutter is going to Moonblast, put me to Sash, or even if I Terra Ghost to get out of like a Fake Out or an Extreme Speed, then still get Shadow Balled. So I really need this Sash to exist this week. We have Ice Beam for like Latios and Tinglu. Otherwise, we're actually pretty good on coverage. I am not even running Gravity on Deoxys, so Dark Void isn't like a main strategy. But I also don't feel like Psychic is a move I need. So I just kind of left Dark Void on here because it's still, even at 50% accuracy, sometimes it's just the button. So it's there. I should also mention the speed, so it's outspeeding, I believe Ogerpon Wellspring is its fastest thing, and then special attack, and whatever in HP. I know I'm Sash, but the issue is I don't really need any more speed than that. Even maxing it out, you know, something like an Icy Wind, or what is it? Is it Rock Tomb? Is it Sand Tomb and Rock Tomb the two moves I'm thinking of? I think it is. Rock Tomb from Tinglu could lower speed, something like that. That extra speed still doesn't matter, so maybe 2 hits from something. I still live with HP. Really just whatever with those stats. Deoxys is Terra Dark for the Ghost of Fluttermane, hitting it Dark. It's not necessarily, you know, Terra Dark I think of more often as like Prankster immunity. But really, even though, you know, it's the same issue with Darkrai, where if Fluttermane wants to predict Terra, I'm still weak to the other one. But it's also good into Latios, although Psychic is still resists. Again, I thought it was fine. There is Morgrim, but like I said, I don't think it's really coming. But anyway, Psychic is, even though I didn't feel like I needed it on Darkrai, it's just because anything I would have Psychic, Darkrai's Dark Pulse still hits well. So Psychic is fine. You know, I get walled by Tinglu, although I still have Icy Wind. So I'm not really super walled by anything, although calling Icy Wind an attacking move is kind of bold. And then I actually went Light Screen Reflect this week. Kind of like I was talking about with Weezing. I think if they aren't picking up Okos with stuff like Flutter, Ogerpon, Arcanine, even Latios, we're probably in a better spot. And so I think especially behind a Reflect and Light Screen, like Weezing can probably live forever. Gigas can even live a reasonable amount of time. It is still base 110 HP, defense, and special defense. I love this thing so much. So a week where I feel like Weezing Gigas are going to be more important. I also think them behind screens are potentially lethal. Along with it covers for Fluttermane being either Focus Sash or Booster is my assumption. With Booster, Weezing Gigas is just going to be able to take Flutter out with a Sash on Fluttermane. I'm going to do like Weezing Deoxys, so Icy Wind will break Sash, then either Darkrai or Gigas are going to be able to finish, most likely, that Fluttermane. So that's the thoughts there. See how that goes. Toedscruel has Citrus Berry, I kind of, I didn't think it needed a covert, and I had leftovers on Wheezing, and so I just gave it Citrus, basically. Generically good item. Rage Powder Spore, kind of part of Toadscruel's things. Earth Power Giga Drain. I think it covers potential tear as well. Earth Power, although obviously Toadscruel is still threatened by the Arcanine, Earth Power also threatens it back really hard. Toadscruel should be decent into Tinglu. They do have the Follow Me Grass type in Ogerpon, so I'm not 100% sure how much value I'll get. But, bring Wheezing, I felt like I'd rather bring this Toadscruel this week than the Smeargle. I didn't feel like it needed Fake Out too incredibly bad, because I'm just kind of outspeeding with these three. Everything except Flutter Mane, which I can't Fake Out. Terra Water, I think, actually helps basically in front of everything. Obviously not the Palma and Ogerpon, but it helps so much into everything else, and Toadscruel doesn't like Ogerpon either way. Ogerpon doesn't hit it for super effective, but it still doesn't like it redirecting the spores, so honestly the Pokemon I'm the least convinced will come. But like I said, I still just wanted it over Smeargle, and I didn't really think I needed Kilowattrel or Gengar or anything. Then finally, Scrafty, who I think, although it is obviously the 4-time Fairy weakness, with Assault Vest and Terra Poison, actually can just be so deadly into Flutter Mane. Plus the fighting type hitting Arcanine and Tinglu. Poison still for Flutter Mane and Ogerpon. Knockoff for Latios. Pretty neutral into Scizor, but with Intimidate I think it's still good. Terra Poison, it's good into Palmot. Then only Tinglu and Latios, I suppose, are threatening with that poison. But he's still just so especially bulky. I know the HP is obviously the big Scrafty issue, but it's still maxed. And even though it is Assault Vest, I did go Close Combat because I do think Scrafty probably needs that little bit of extra oomph into Arcanine and Tinglu. Actually, I don't know why I even mentioned Tinglu into Arcanine, to be honest. Yeah, that is that. And we will go into the games. Okay, perfect. Hello, we are here. Nothing on this team, very surprising. Does have that Flutter Mane, obviously. I think I just go Gigas Wheezing, Darkrai. Do I need this? Deoxys? I don't think I do in the back. I think I do just bring Scrafty there. I don't know who that is, but that's okay. I think my prep is pretty good compared to what I'm seeing. It's just a matter of it being enough. Like, I would love to see Booster Energy Flutter, not Sash. Besides that, not too much like that. Okay, here we go. Okay. So So my issue here is, for as much as I do love the heavy slam, then Weezing isn't doing a ton. Heavy slam, sludge bomb. Because the other part of this too is that Flutter Mane doesn't actually do that much damage to Gigas Weezing. Like Shadow Ball and Weezing would be the most powerful Moonblast into Gigas, which I'm sure will chunk, but like Flutter Mane's not OHKOing either. Okay. That is fine. He doesn't know like Scarf Speed Order. And he doesn't know Flamethrower. Which is definitely maybe for Scizor. Even not knowing guaranteed the speed order, I think there's a good chance that Flutter switches out. But I think I'd rather deal with having to switch Scrafty into a Heat or the Arcanine. Yeah. Ah, protected Scizor. Like, I want to switch in Scrafty and get Intimidate, but that would mean switching Darkrai into the Weezing slot, and I don't like that. I can almost justify staying in on Gigas, but I don't think that makes any sense. Forgot what it is. Fire Scizor. Just protected. I think it is Scrafty and Protect. Yeah, okay. Cool. I wasn't 100% sure. I felt like it was decent odds. I'd set up that Terrifier. Okay, clear Amulet. And he protected, right? Oh, and it is Booster Energy. And he did protect. Okay. Do I need to Terra Stellar for the double edge or no? What else do I need to Terra this game though? Like, I think it's worth just ripping it. It is booster though, so a Heavy Slam will just finish it. It would be the Scrafty that I would Terra, if not this Stellar. I think I might need that Scrafty Terra. Ooh, that was a crit. And Moonblast and Weezing. Okay. Obviously knows the speed order now. The way I was switching after Heavy Slam. I think it's a very safe assumption on his part that I have a Scarf. Depending on how much bulk is in this Ogre Pond, this double edge could kill. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is where I kind of needed poison. Oh god, I can just click this raw Dark Void button. And I'm not proud of it, but I think I have to press this Dark Void button. I think I actually protect and double edge first. But I'd actually like to get Scrafty in, so I can guarantee Darkrai isn't getting doubled up. Oh. Yeah, I think if I had actually just saved Terra Poison on Scrafty, would be in a lot nicer of a spot. Would still just follow me. Okay. Yeah, I could have clicked Dark Void. Now I'm in a weird spot anyway. It sucks because he is going for Moonblast in this spot. Yeah, I mean, he would have to have extreme speed. You know, I don't even feel good about this, to be so for real. No, I think that's cope. It does feel good, but like I just hit the 50% accurate move in 2 slots, and it probably won me the game. We just out here flipping coins, apparently. I mean, I put it on there for a reason, though. Yeah, I think it's over. I do think for game 2, do I do Gigas Weezing? Should know that I'm Scarf, but it's kind of heat into everything. And then a Terrifier, Swords Dancing, Scizor. What if I do using Deoxys, Icy Wind? I don't know. It seems kind of mid. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to run Regigigas back, but I think it just works. Do I do Toadscroll over Scrafty? Give me just a minute. Yeah, I think I'll just go Scrafty. I don't necessarily love just not adjusting here, but I think these 4 just kind of have the tools to play whichever way he does. And the Scarf Gigas is actually a great call this week. He went Booster on the Flutter, and Flutter is no longer safe in front of Regigigas. Okay, He knows I have flamethrower is my issue. I think I still press the Will-O-Wisp button though. Like Terrastellar knockoff is intriguing. It's intriguing. I don't know what more I can say. It doesn't KO, my bad. If it does, hell yeah, you know? I think he has to protect or Terastallize or switch to Scizor. Because he knows I have Flamethrower. I'm basically betting that he switches into like Ogerpon or Tinglu would be ideal. Fluttermane fine. Arcanine is still fine. The funny part is, I was basically always leading Weezing. It was more so like, do I bring Toedscruel? Do I bring Deoxys? So that Scizor was never gonna be safe. Let's go. I could have ripped the Flamethrower. What does the Fluttermane do here? He's even non-terra'd. I think I have to knock off Flutter. Some cost. I don't think he Terra Fires after it's already burned. I don't need to take this Fluttermane KO, but if I can knock the booster energy off while it's not activated... Oh, is that not how that works? Well, the speed I put into Weezing mattered. He outsped Scizor. I didn't think you had any reason to put any speed into a Scizor. Oh my god. Yeah, Regigigas popped off this week. Theoretically, should I be Will-O-Wisping instead of Sludge Bombing? I don't think it matters at all. Just not noticing. An OU, very fun. Yeah, Terra Fairy or Terra Water. You know, this is actually, even if I just double attack into a Protect. No, I like this. Because if it's attack, follow me, I'm hitting. If it's protect, it doesn't matter, but I'm not taking the physical damage. If it is protect, attack, I eat it for a turn, you know, and I still am attacking with Weezing. The only thing is, yeah, there's no guaranteed world Fluttermane's dying, but I don't think it much matters, even with my two dark types in the back, one with Sash, the other with Fake Out. It's okay. Okay, did go Terra Water. which means not going to be super effective Sludge Bomb, but yeah, I should still protect. Yeah, follow me. Good. Probably gonna Moonblast Gigas. No, it was Shadow Ball. Okay. A Willow if I get there. Yeah, that doesn't KO. Oh, that was the most. So barely doesn't KO. Holy cow. Nice. Up the instant leave. That's unfortunate. And still, GG's. Whew. Those were close games.